I had been cutting some squares of wood. I had previously made a cut of an identical shaped piece of plywood. This is about 1.5 inches thick. It's a laminated plywood. And then I stopped and I reset the saw blade to cut a thinner piece of plywood. And I run these through with one of these push blocks. This has got a good grip on it, and it keeps your hand well above the saw blade. And so I made a few cuts like that, and then I was distracted. The phone rang and I was away from the saw for a while, and I came back, and the last thing I was thinking is that I had just finished cutting one of these. So I got this and I pushed it through the saw blade, and when I got to here I realized, well, that's not right. And just that quick, that little momentary glitch of thought, that saw blade caught that, it got up on top of the blade and it threw it backwards, and you can see where it dug in. And it accelerated it and spun it as it was spinning, came back, and it hit me right in the stomach. Fortunately, it hit me with this and not with this pointed edge. This was about like getting hit with a line drive baseball, only angular. This saw blade is turning 4,140 RPM. That's a 10-inch blade, so that's going a little over 120 miles an hour. I don't think this slowed down much by the time it got to me, so it probably hit me at least 110 miles an hour. Now, I'll admit it hurt. It knocked the wind out of me. Fortunately, it hit in a relatively well-padded area. I've got a hell of a bruise from it, and it broke the skin a little bit, but at least it didn't hit me with that part. Usually, when I'm making cuts on the table saw, I stand to one side of the blade as I'm pushing the work through there, and usually, if it kicks, it'll come back through here. But in this case, it got up on top of that blade and spun around and came back and hit me. So, from the time that saw blade started to grab that piece of wood until it hit me, it was only a fraction of a second. It's unlikely you'll have a reaction time to get out of the way of something moving 120 miles an hour and you're only a foot or 18 inches away from it.